to give a bit of a background on the Great Depression. But before we do that, I used this the other day with another class, so that's why it says the 19th. But what do you know about the Great Depression? I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes. To formulate your response. You can put it in the chat box. Oh, yes, Ms. Williams, unmute yourself. Are you trying to talk? Yes, it's a time of starvation. Stock market crash. People share food. James is funny. Hoover was blamed. Hey, Sam. FDR became president. Good. People didn't have food to eat.
Daisy said the Great Depression affected the lower class and people of color the most.
Yes. Who said that?
Daisy.
Where is that at? I missed that. How did I miss that?
You said Hoover blamed. It's a
I
lot
did.
at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Good job, Daisy.
They have jobs, yes, Lou. Mostly California. All across the country.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was a dust bowl out west that exacerbated the Great Depression during that time period. But that, I don't even think that was California, but there may have been a drought that was.
It was.
Yeah.
You got any more? Any more? That's it?
Good.
Still got like 1 minute left, but if everybody
suffered. It's a farmer struggle. Soup, yeah. Yeah, okay. In the 1930s. No, it can't end in the late 20s. I mean, it can't start in the late 20s and end in the early 30s. It actually, Evangeline, took place throughout the 30s, and it was going into the 40s until World War II.
Yep.
So it's throughout the 30s, Evangeline. It's over a decade long.
But that's you guys are doing pretty good.
Yeah, James said whites were given priority in these programs. That's absolutely.
I know it.
New Deal. Yeah, Lydia. That was the alphabet soup was the New Deal. Yeah. Yeah, it was like 10 years, Nutsa.
Good job.
Yeah, so
farmers struggled a lot. Yep.
29, yep, and ended with World War II.
Yes.
Great.
And that was a timer too.
Good job, guys.
Yay. All right. So
there was that debate, James.
Oh, what did they say?
James said some argue federal programs prolong depression. There was that debate.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Oh my God. Okay.
Well, Eid is Saturday, right? And that's when Eid is Saturday?
Either Saturday or Sunday. I'm kind of hoping for Sunday. But it depends on when the moon is sighted.
Okay.
Yeah. Did someone say that?
No, I said that. Why are you hoping for Sunday?
I ordered clothes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it's not coming till Saturday. Dang, okay. I ordered it 2 weeks ago. It was a hold up.
Okay.
Darn Rona. All right. So, okay. So where were we? Yes. All right. So we've been going in chronological order. We talked about slavery, and then went from slavery to the Civil War, Reconstruction, from Reconstruction to the Great Migration to Harlem Renaissance. And what ends the Harlem Renaissance is the Great Depression, which started in 1929. As was stated before, there was a stock market crash. It kind of started because a firm was convicted of fraud for illegally purchasing steel stocks. And then from there, things started to like go downhill. Folks started writing articles about there being this mass sell-off of shares. And so what happens is, like, for 2 days, people bought shares to try to like boost up the Dow. And that worked temporarily. And then all of a sudden there was like a mass sell-off of shares, which is, if you guys don't know, shares are like what are pieces of a company that you can buy. So yeah, shares are like are parts of a company that you can like buy, that you can own. So by the way, anybody who purchased shares from Apple in like the 90s are probably like millionaires right now. Just saying. But darn it. But yeah, so everyone started selling their shares. This caused the Dow to crash, in the worst crash that it's ever had. And as a result, it plunged the United States into a Great Depression. But this was something that was also happening on a global scale as well. So just to put that in context, one of the things that happened is when it happened, people like started to complete suicide. So they would like jump off of buildings because like their entire life savings were just gone, just like completely wiped out. In addition to that, a lot of the banks ended up becoming essentially bankrupt. And a lot of the money that people had put into banks were gone. And also, when people started hearing about this depression and what was happening with stocks, people started rushing to their banks and like taking money out of their ATM machine. And it got to the point where, like, imagine you go to your ATM machine to take out money, and you should have like maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, and there's nothing there. So on top of this huge crisis, there was something called the bonus army that happened while Herbert Hoover was president. He was president when the Dow went down. And so the bonus army was basically essentially a bunch of soldiers and army vets marching on Washington and demanding like rights and demanding equal pay and all these other things. And even though Hoover didn't give the order, because he was president and he's the commander in chief, he still had to accept responsibility for it. But anyway, so they're all there. There's thousands of them. They're protesting, and the army, or I believe it was like the police mixed with some things I was reading, says also some like National Guard, came in and essentially like started attacking the soldiers. This was, of course, horrible PR, and many folks consider this the reason why, or basically it left the door wide open for FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, to become the next president. Many people were hoping for him to be president. At this time, you still do not have like a large sector of the Black population voting for him because, as a reminder, he was a Democrat. But that's going to change with his second election. Most of the Black people are going to vote for him. So we're going to see that solidification of Black people voting Democrat during this time period and moving forward. And as I told y'all before, it kind of started before this situation where you had a lot of white Republicans, or I should say a lot of white Democrats moving over to the Republican side. And this is where you're going to see Blacks during FDR's second presidency, move over to the Democratic side en masse. So Franklin Delano Roosevelt becomes president. Obviously, it's during this economic time, during this economic crisis. Many people are hoping that he will be able to kind of stem the crisis that's happening. And of course, the people that are hit the hardest are the farmers and in particular, people of color. So some of the things that FDR, remember, you guys are going to cover this for American history. So I'm not going to go into like major detail, just kind of give you guys the background. So some of the things he did when he became president, he declared a national bank holiday, which was something that was considered revolutionary at the time, closed all the banks and passed the Emergency Banking Relief Act. And with the BRA, it permitted the government to essentially allow the banks that could still do business, that were financially sound, to reopen. And the banks that were not financially sound, the government bought up stocks to keep them afloat until they could reorganize them. So in that way, it kind of like they secure people's money that were in the banks. Then there was the Agriculture Adjustment Act, which essentially, it's like a confusing program, but essentially what it does is it pays farmers to not farm all of their land. They only wanted them to farm a certain acreage, and they paid them to do that. Now, this worked for farmers, but for Blacks who were mostly sharecroppers who did not own the farm, this messed them up a lot. And there wasn't a lot of help for them in terms of the programs that were implemented. It really just helped white land owning farmers. It didn't help a lot of Black farmers. You had the NRA, the National Recovery Administration. This established codes of fair practice. Now, this is really important because a lot of people say that FDR's legacy is something we're going to talk about is coming up next in the next point. But I would argue that what he did here was just as important, if not more important. So I want you guys to picture this. Imagine you are a 5-year-old and you are working 12 hours or more a day for maybe 25 or 50 cents. Can you guys imagine that? Can you imagine that? People actually did that during this time period. Kids were working, and I'm not talking about 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm talking about thousands of children were working. There was no limit in terms of the workday for your hours. So the NRA essentially is going to establish fair practices in terms of labor. They're going to set minimum wages because people are working for $1. And I know you're like, oh, but $1 probably took them so far. And then on top of that, there were maximum hours that you could work that was established. And it also stops, in many ways, child labor, which was important. I mean, the other thing is like, why are children working? Many of them have to work. But the reality is that, kids should not have to work. They should not be working, especially 12 or more hours. But that was the time period where this was allowed. So all the things that's accomplished in an NRA, one of them that I would argue is the most important is it stops child labor, institutes minimum wages, and then also caps maximum work hours. So you're not working like 15, 16, 17, 18 hours a day, which was very normal during that time period. He established something called the Public Works Administration. And this was, and under this, Harry Hopkins ran the CWA. And what this does is it basically puts people to work. Now, most of those people, as you know, were not people of color. But in its first month, it employed 2.6 million people. After the second month, about 4 million men were employed. And they were doing things like building playgrounds, what else? Roads, schools, highways, exactly.
Infrastructure.
Yes. So it basically essentially puts them to work, but then this ends up not working out to their advantage because they actually underestimated how many people needed jobs. And
the discrimination.
yes, absolutely. Because again, people of color were not allowed to, were not given those jobs. They didn't have access to many of those jobs. And then the other thing is Social Security. So this is kind of like the creme de la creme of his legacy. If you are disabled, if you are elderly, you can receive payments from the government. Now, a lot of people would say that Social Security is like a huge drain on the economic system, but to those people, I say, but we have no problem funding countless wars and buying tons of weapons. So why is Social Security such a big thing? I do know that a couple of the articles that I've read over the years are saying that there's not enough people paying in. There's more people receiving than people paying in. And so that's putting Social Security in jeopardy. But overall, I think most people would say that the establishment of Social Security was absolutely necessary, not even just during that time period, but moving forward, because it helps out those who are unable to work. And so that is the Great Depression, FDR in a nutshell. As I think James mentioned, he did serve several terms, and now presidents are limited to how many terms they can serve. They can only do 2. But yeah, so what we're gonna have you all do today. Oh, first of all, is there any questions or comments? Because I can't see the chat box. Did I miss anything?
No.
William?
No, there weren't any questions. They were just reacting to what you said.
Okay.
About labor laws and how the kids had to leave school to have time to work and get money. And yeah, I was tapping in there just all the different acronyms and letting them know this is why it's called alphabet soup.
Oh,
The FDAC, the NRA, the CCC, the PWA, the CWA, the SSA.
all of it. Yes.
It's called American History. The kids had to know all those acronyms, what they stood for, and what the programs did.
Oh, did you do that?
Yeah, especially for AP.
Yes. I didn't. I've never taught. Well, no, I taught 8th grade American history. But that's like.
That's a bit much for 8th grade.
Yeah, that's not as intense.
No, this is 11th grade.
Yeah. Oh, the slide option bar. Yes, and I was trying to figure out how to move that away. It wouldn't move for some reason.
Caption?
The bottom part, maybe.
Yeah, it's a closed caption. I can read a closed caption.
It provided monetary support for the elderly, disabled, dependent, and unemployed Americans.
What? Social Security? Social
Security, yeah. Because if this thing is like being blocked for some reason, I can't figure out how to unblock it.
The slide option bar.
You see, like.
I only see closed captions at the bottom.
Oh.
I don't see another bar.
Yeah, it's like slide 59 and then exit. It won't go away.
Oh, on a slide. Okay, that's because I'm on you. Let me go to your other. You were reading off of slides? Hilarious. I'm sitting here watching you.
Yes.
There was a presentation going.
There's a presentation going. I mean, I was adding more to it, but everybody's on Padlet. All right, wait. Before
okay, now I'm on a presentation.
Yeah, hold on. Don't do Padlet yet. All right. So we're gonna do a mini Web-quest, and this is a little thing that I made from my other class. So it's like first one done. These are the questions, but they're all also on the Web-quest. So what we want you all to do, I'm going to start sharing this tab for the Web-quest. So this is the sample. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to delete this for whoever anonymous is. So you're going to have to redo that. All right, so this is what I want you. So this is what we want you to do. So first of all, many of you, if you have not signed up for Padlet, then that means that you are going to show up anonymous. So you need to like put your name in the title so that we know who is typing. So what we want you all to do Here are your questions. How was the Black community affected by the Great Depression? How was civil rights addressed during this time period? And then the final one is find one or two specific examples of race relations in the U.S. during this time period. And for that last one, we want you to use photographic evidence. So that means you either have to download the photo from some of the sites, or you can get the photo URL. It works that way as well. So you're going to you're going to go to these different sites and answer these questions, and you are going to write it in. You're going to write it in your own words, or put it in your own words. So like, I don't want you to just copy and paste. Like, you can do that to prove what you're saying, but we want you to do it in your own words. And first one's back when. You should, oh, and also make your own post. We want you to make your own posts. So don't comment under the Hello Students post. Make your own post. And you can do a post for each question, or you can keep commenting on the post that you make. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions?
I don't know. I think for me, it's one of these things that I just learned by doing.
Can you see the Padlet right now, Ms. Williams?
I'm in there.
Okay. Oh, okay. So there you go. So Liddy did it. Yeah, so that's exactly what I want you to do. So you're going to write your name and then put the question, and then you're going to search for answers to the question by clicking on the websites, which are all right here. Website 1, website 2, website 3, website 4. Perfect.
Good job, guys.
Yep.
How much time did I get?
Oh, so it's 1:30 right now. So I think we should give them 20 minutes.
All right, to 1:50.
Yep. Now, we did have to go over in the other period. So I fully expect that we might have to go over, but we'll see.
Okay.
So I'm going to put 25 minutes on the clock. Or 20 minutes on the clock. And then if we need more, we'll extend it. And go. I have a headache. Oh boy. All right, so while you all are working, what I did yesterday, and I just thought it was very timely, I played Israel's music in the background, and some of the kids loved it. So it was his birthday yesterday.
Who?
Israel Kamakawiwole. He's the Hawaiian. He is the amazing voice that remade a few classics. And this was his birthday yesterday. It was a Google Doodle for him. And if you all don't know, this month is Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So it was part of like Google honoring.
Oh.
So I'm gonna play a little bit of, yeah, I'll play, it won't be super loud, but I'll play some in the background. Once you hear the song, you'll definitely notice.
I know it.
Yeah. Doesn't it, you know that song, right?
Yeah.
Like this version, I mean, not the song, but this version.
Yeah.
So he died really young. I think he died when he was like 32. Oh, Teresa said my mom plays it for me when I was a baby.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high.
All right, so everybody should be on the Padlet.
The dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby.
All right, who is? I'm trying to figure out who this is. You guys have to, all of you, please make sure you're putting your names in your post.
bluebirds fly.
Thanks, Andy.
The dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true.
I'm going to stop sharing this screen.
Someday wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops.
Oh wow, Miss Williams, read Olivia's post in the chat.
You find me somewhere over bluebirds fly.
James said he won. I'm trying to figure out where James is.
The dream that you
They're coming in so quickly.
Oh why
This is James right
here. Someday I wish upon
James, can you? All right, James says he has all three. But James, can you go back and upload the photo?
Where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dreams that you did do, why, oh why can't
All right, so we have James. This is so cool being able to see everyone's stuff come in real time. All right, who is this anonymous person? Last hired, first fired.
James, since you have extra time, I'm going to challenge you to cite specific examples from the sources of your answers.
Yes. And also upload the photo. Just go back and edit your original one and just put the photo there. Anonymous left a comment. There's a bunch of anonymous at the top, and I have no idea what they are.
Anonymous.
Anonymous at the top. Can you all?
Down a little bit, Miss Rachel. Let me see. So Brian wrote his name in, Jeremy wrote his name in, Sandy wrote her name in. I don't know who this anonymous is that has history.com there in the picture of the article. They have to write their name in.
And then James said, oh, he said he's trying to download, but it's linking to the website instead. Can you just download the picture, James? And then just re-upload it?
How would they feel about this modern city life? Tears would come from each other's eyes as they would start to realize that our people are in great, great danger now.
All right, Tiff has...
Would their smiles be content and cry? Cry for the gods, cry for the people, cry for the land that was taken away. And then yet you'll find a way. You just imagine if they came back and saw traffic lights and railroad tracks How would you feel about this modern city life?
So I haven't figured out who this anonymous person is.
Each other's eyes, and they would start to realize that our land is in great, great danger now. All the fighting that the king had done to conquer all these islands, now there's condominiums. How would he feel if he saw a lady? How would he feel? Would his smile be content and cry? Cry for the gods, cry for the people, cry for the land that was taken away. And then yet you'll find
Share from me. That is a good point. Alan, I want you to flesh that response out a little bit more. You said the Black community was affected by the civil rights. Or maybe you're not finished typing. Maybe that's what that is. Siani, great job on your first response. Oh, James, what is happening? Let me see.
Okay. I saw you in my dream.
I don't know what happened to James's link,
We were walking
his URL.
hand in
It's
hand
like 50 pages long.
on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. We were playing in the sun. We were having so much fun on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. The sound of the ocean soothes my restless soul. Sound of the ocean.
James, you know what? Can you put a link to the picture you're trying to upload in the chat box?
Those hot long summer days, lying there in the sun on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. Sound of the ocean soothes my restless soul. Sound of the ocean rocks me all night long.
Oh, we have 8 minutes left too, by the way, guys.
Last night in my dreams, I saw your face again. We were there in the sun on a white sandy beach. Oh, 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 We're here, live in direct.
Is anybody else able to upload pictures?
I saw Tiffany did and Liddy did.
And you can add them in the comments too. That's why I'm so confused as to why this James is not. It's not working.
Is it only 'cause you're lonely they blame you? For that Mona Lisa we call in your eyes. Do you smile to tempt your lover, Mona Lisa? Or is it just the way to make a broken heart? Are you real, Mona Lisa? Ready?
Which way? Or Liddy? Liddy, what school do you go to? Is he is a nursing student? All right, good answer, Liddy.
What happened?
No, I said good answer.
Oh.
Like the woman with the mystic
Oh yeah. It's doing the same thing.
Is it only 'cause you're lonely they blame you? For that Mona Lisa we call
James,
in your eyes.
try this. Create a new post with the picture and then see if that works.
Or is it just the way to make a broken heart? Are you real, Mona Lisa?
Awesome, Tiff. All right, and then if you, it would be great if you would also,
Check on my wife.
for those of you that uploaded photos, when we're done, just share what give the context behind the photo. And as a time check, we have 4 minutes and 56 seconds left.
Must have been cold there in my shadow. Never have sunlight on you.
Yeah, oh, Liddy has all three.
Good job, Liddy.
We're content to let me shine.
So who's done? I think
James is done.
Andy, and Tiffany.
Yep. Yep. Anybody else done? Because I'm trying to look through them.
I know, they keep moving.
I know. John is working on number 3. I believe.
Whoever just posted that picture, that's anonymous. Oh, James. All right, good.
Awesome. Yes. I don't see anybody with this picture on. I feel like there should be more posts in here. There's not 60 kids up in here.
No, everyone's participating.
They are not.
Some people opted out.
So I'm going to put the URL in the chat box. Because why not? Why would you not want to participate?
Andy's done. Andy, I wish that we could see your picture though. Maybe you can open a new post and post your picture, Andy. I see the link there, but I want you to post it, okay? Andy, don't.
For those of you folks that are still over here in the main Google Meet, that's the link that we're using.
Edel is done. Good job, Edel.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
You want to go back to Hawaii?
Uh,
I mean, I've already, like always, want to go back, but man, that music.
I want to go for the first time.
Yeah. You know, I just was lucky. I answered one of those calls. They were like, "You have won a free trip. You would attend one of our." Yep.
What? Are you serious? Oh, were they trying to sell like the shares?
Yeah, they're trying to sell to others. It wasn't free, but it was heavily discounted, so much that we could afford to go. And still, it was tough because it's very expensive even when you get over there. All the prices are ridiculous because they're an island that's in, and so they transfer those costs to the tourists, and so it's very expensive. But I was like, look, we got to go. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to
Go right.
afford this. So I'm happy
It's
that
so,
we go.
yeah.
Wow, really good job, guys.
Yeah, I'm reading through now.
Yeah, I read through. Unless I got to refresh again. Let me see.
So Lit Mobile just sent me this solar wireless
Awesome.
battery
All right,
pack.
I'm
I'm
going
excited.
to
Let's see
stop
what's
the
inside.
music. It's 1:51. I know the timer
Yeah.
was probably going to be going off.
Yeah, if you guys want to continue and finish it up, if you didn't finish that third one, you go ahead and do that while we start going over it a little bit. Ms. Ridgway, I do have to leave at 2 today. I have a doctor's appointment, so I gotta get out of here at 2 today. So
No worries.
I want to say this, and like I gave them points last time for participating in the debate.
Okay.
Typing in information to help with the debate, and if they volunteer to actually participate in the debate, I also gave them extra points for that as well. So
okay.
I'll do the same for this. And so if you guys, if you want to complete it, in order to get the 5 points, it's only 5 points, but that's what most of my classwork is worth anyway. But if you want, if you want those points, then you go ahead and you complete it up to number 3. I'll give you 5 points if you complete it to number 3. Alrighty.
And I shared this with you too.
With who, me?
I'm pretty sure it's you. E.B. Williams one, is that you?
You share what with me?
This Padlet, so you can ask.
Yes, I have it. I was in there.
Okay, cool. No, I mean like I shared it, like you can, I invite, like you're a member of the Padlet now.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I don't know what that means, but
I don't either. All right.
So it's 1:53. There's a few pictures that have been posted. Oh, and I was just about to post this picture, and then Kane, I just saw that Kane posted it. Yes, Kane. Good job. So
thank you.
You're welcome. So if all of you scroll down to the bottom, there are some pictures that really highlight the state of race relations in this country. And one of the pictures shows a Black man sleeping under the truck. He's a trucker. When he went to the rest stop to rest, he had to sleep under his truck because there was no space for him as a Black man to actually sleep in the space that is provided at these rest stops. So he could not. So he had to sleep under the truck. And that really stuck out to me when I was looking through these resources as just unbelievable, that this man that is working so hard has to go under his truck to sleep. Like he cannot go into the rest stop and be able to sleep with everyone else. And Tiffany, great photo. That's for question number 2, where it says civil rights were addressed during this time period. Yeah, and we of note, at first, FDR did not want to touch civil rights at all with a long foot pole. He didn't want to deal with lynching. He didn't want to deal with the poll tax because he still had the support
White support.
of white Southerners. And so that's going to wane as his presidency continues. But yeah, he definitely did not want to address that. And so that really upset a lot of Black people. What else? Anything else you want to add here? Oh, that's a great find, Tiff. The broom and the mop, the effective jobs. Food programs, yes. Anything else you want to add, Ms. Williams?
No, I was looking through the pictures too.
Yeah.
It's a great picture that Def Cherie posted with the Black family and the newspaper background. A lot of times, you were too poor to insulate your home, in a traditional way.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would collect newspapers and put them on their walls for insulation to keep warm, to keep the cold out.
Yeah.
And that's how poor, that they were. I've seen a lot of pictures of white Appalachian families with those newspapers in the background. And here's a Black family with the newspapers in the background as well.
Yeah.
There's a phrase that says, when America catches the cold, Black Americans or African Americans catch the flu. So that, it just goes to show, the discrimination factor and racism in America. When anything hits America, especially economically, it usually is Black people that are hit the worst. And it's during this time period that we see, and then throughout World War II as well, and up through the 80s as well, we see white wealth being compounded in American families, American households. And that's due to all of the programs and all of the handouts and all of the welfare that white families were able to capitalize off of, while Black families were discriminated against and had no access to this wealth, which is why you see the vast wealth disparities that exist today.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it started during slavery, but since slavery, since the end of slavery, throughout the civil rights movement, and even today, we still have employment discrimination, housing discrimination, all of this wealth that's stolen from and held back from Black families.
Yep. It's so true. Also two other like major things. Marian Anderson, who is from Philly.
Philly.
Yes. She was born here. Amazing voice. She was denied access to like one of their top vocal theater programs, and she had to go overseas and became famous. And when she came back, they would not allow her to sing. So Eleanor Roosevelt, FDR's wife, the first lady, actually arranged for her to sing at the National Monument in Washington. And she was also the first Black person to ever perform on a national stage in an opera. From Philly. Let me just say that again. And then the other thing is food stamps were also created during this time period. I believe it was like 1939-ish when it was implemented by FDR. So that's also, we also get food stamps during this time period. So this is really this time where this concept of socialism, right, of wanting to care for the most vulnerable in society is going to come into play. And it's not considered like something that we should be doing. It's not considered as something that we shouldn't do. It's actually something that is very necessary in order for people to survive in society. So yeah, I think that was it. Marian Anderson, food stamps. I think we covered everything. So when you guys go to American history, you know stuff.
Yeah. Yes, you will. You will know some stuff. And then, you have to study your alphabet soup maybe.
Yes.
Study your alphabet soup, make an actual soup, put it in a bowl, put them index cards in a bowl, stir it up, pick them out. It'll be fun.
Good job, guys. I see, good job, all of you. I see some of you are still commenting. I'm going to go back in and put some comments on those, but awesome job. Thank all of you so much.
Good job, Ms. Ridgway.
Good job, Ms. Williams.
Thank you. And well done, guys. Like I said, I'll come back through a little bit later. Right now, I got to run out.
Yes,
I'll come back through. Yes, thank you.
You all have a good weekend too. I'll finish up here, Ms. Williams. No worries. I'll give the goodbyes.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Yep. Bye, everybody. Nutsa, before you leave. Oh, did she leave already? Womp womp. Bye. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye. I'm gonna stop recording now. Bye. Oh, how do you say your last name?